Hello and welcome everyone to another one of my Magic the Gathering Arena videos. Today I will be participating in the Historic Pauper Event, and for that I wanted to try a more aggressive black build with kind of like cheap removals for early game action, and that's just what I did. So in my deck I have 4 Blightkeepers for some early game flying action. At the late game, if the game draws out that much, which I doubt, I can still use the 8 mana ability and sacrifice it to deal 4 damage to my opponent. Then I have 2 Bone Splinters for cheap removal if I ever need it. Of course this is sorcery speed, but the 1 cost of mana makes up for it and we can sacrifice tokens, as you will see later. Then I have 2 Deadweights for problematic creatures. This also counts as a cheap removal against weaker creatures, maybe first strikers that you don't want to deal with. Then I have 2 Duresses for early game hand destruction. I've only put in 2 because we don't really know what kind of decks we will be going to face. If we need more, I'm going to be switching around, but for now I think 2 is enough. For fungal infections, a decent removal for 1 toughness creatures, while also leaving a body behind for us to use in another blocking scenario or just sacrifice it to Bone Splinters. Or it can be used as a combat trick as well. So for example, something with 2 toughness attacks you use it on them, it creates a sapling and then you block the remaining 1 half of with the token as well. So that's also kind of a removal in itself. Then we have 4 Plague Whites. Whenever it gets blocked, the other creature gets -1/-1, so it's good. It's basically just an all-around good attacker for early game, and nobody ever will try to block it. If they try to block it, you will have many more -X abilities that you can still use to help you out. Then we have 4 Vicious Offerings, which gives -2/-2, and if you sacrifice a creature paying its kicker cost, then it gets -5/-5. Then we have 4 Deathbloom Talids. It's a decent blocker and a decent attacker, also leaves a body behind. Most of the time I'm guessing it will be shocked or dead-weighted or something like that, so I don't expect these to be around for too long, but at least they leave behind a 1/1 sap-rolling creature that we can again use for blocking or for sacrificing to Bone Splinters or Vicious Offerings. Then I have 4 Murders. It's important to note that you want to use the M20 version of Murder because the M19 version is uncommon. Even though it's the same card, I've tried putting the M19 version into my deck because I like the artwork there better. But when you try to nominate your deck for the event, it would just say that the deck validation has failed or something like that. So if you want to put any kind of Murder in your deck, then please use the M20 version. Then we have 2 Obnix. This is Cruelty. This is a 3 mana instant, which gives -5/-5 to a target creature, and if it would die, it would exile them. I don't really care about the exile part. I don't think there are too many overpowered creatures in Pauper, but the -5/-5 can deal with pretty big creatures. So even if they have, I don't know, like a 6/6 or a 7/7, and you minus them down to a 1/1 or a 2/2, and you can block into them, that's a decent removal. Or if they are anywhere below that, so if it's a 5/5, 4/4, whatever, then they just die instantly. So as you can see, we have a lot of removal and only a couple of creatures that can fly over the enemy lines and deal the final blow to them. Then we have 4 Skymarch Bloodletters with Enter the Battlefield ability. So the enemy loses 1 life and we gain 1 life. It's not a whole lot, but sometimes it can mean the margin between a loss or a win. And it's also a 2/2 flyer, an evasive creature, so we need 1 of those as well. Then we have 4 Ill-Gotten Inheritances. Once we get up to 4 mana and we draw 1 of these, this is a decent damage that takes down the enemy and heals us over time. And also if you ever get to 6 mana and you see that you can close out the game, you can just sacrifice it and deal 4 damage instantly to the enemy. And then we have Swamps, of course, from one of the excellent sets. That's pretty much the deck. We kept the curve nice and low, as you can see, so 20 lands should be enough. And we just need to play some games and see how we can do with the deck. Okay, so we have a decent 1/2 curve. Probably we'll draw another land, so we are good to go with this hand. It's important to get our flyers in the game as soon as possible. Turn 3 we can play Deathbloom Tellid. Okay, so it's a red colony deck. Deathbloom Tellid is a decent blocker for that as well. Yeah, we were kind of expecting red colony decks because you will always see them in Pauper. That's just a thing. As much as Persistent Petitioners, yeah, that's the one. And now that we have... Okay, that's fine with me as well. So now we can attack with these. Even if he blocks, the rat will die instantly. Now we can play Ill-Gotten Inheritance, which is a good card because we can also sacrifice it in the endgame if we draw any more lands for 4 extra damage, but up until then it's a decent card as well. Next turn we can put down another Deathbloom Tellid as well as the Blightkeeper. Wasting Murder on that card is totally fine. It was also just a token, so... Now that I think of it, I might just play a Plague White and the Blightkeeper. But also Deathbloom Tellid is more mana efficient. Plague White would be good because even if he blocks, a rat will instantly die. They can't really do much about it. But I think that would be a good target for another murder, so maybe it's just better this way. Okay, so my Blightkeeper is gone. We could do this instantly, but I'm just going to be attacking with everyone. Having a Plague White down is more important at this point. Opponent is trying to go all in. I'm just going to be blocking. Yeah, we need 6 mana for that. Yeah, I kind of have to leave someone behind. And I really hope that they don't have an answer for my token there. Okay, so I'm dead on board, but at least we can do that. Had I left behind another blocker, it would have been the same. The fact that they drew so many enchantments with the -2/-2 gave them the win basically. But I totally expect so many more red colony decks down the road, so we can try our luck next time. I think I'm keeping this just because of the fungal infection. And let's hope it's another aggressive deck. They are holding shock in hand. Yeah, so we can't really do much about that. It's a decent 2-drop. I want this to be resolved, so I'm just dropping that Untitled under the bus. Another Prophet. And they still have 1 mana open for another shock. I'm going to leave these in my hand and prepare for the worst. You can also block with the token, sacrifice it to Vicious Offering, but at this point I'm not going to. Okay, so that would be one reason to do it now, but I guess it's fine. I could have waited to block the other Prophet and then use my -5/-5. Which would have been smarter. Yeah, I'm not really feeling it today, guys, I'm sorry. I'm just making mistakes after mistakes. That's a totally fine interaction. And yeah, let that resolve. Do they have something else? Now I'm going to be using my fungal infection, because they wasted a lot of cards. Get this into play. I've attacked with the token because I am not going to block with it. opponent on quite a draw. Next turn I'm going to be using Skymarch Bloodletter, I think, just to get some creatures in the air. So their whole deck seems like built on Burning Prophet. Or at least until this point. Now I like my chances of putting down another ill-gotten inheritance. And leave my token behind for blocking. Unless they drew a spell. And that's totally fine with me. Yeah, they can have first strike, I don't mind. I'm going to be blocking the Prophet, I think. They would need 2 extra spells to pump Prophet. And I really hope they don't have that. I'm still fine unless they drew 1 spell with a mana cost of 1, but they didn't, so it's good. And the Gitu Lava Runner. Now we can activate both Obnixilis's Cruelties as well as our Ill-Gotten Inheritance for some damage. Yeah, I let them draw a card. Maybe they'll have another creature. Maybe they will use their draw ability this way. Or I guess they don't. Taking 2 is totally fine. I will heal back with the Ill-Gotten Inheritance as well, so it shouldn't be a problem. Let's see what they have. Okay, so they can put counters on that, which isn't good, but it's not bad either, so I'm not going to kill it just yet. And what I could do is I could sacrifice one of my ill-gotten inheritances. Yeah, so they realize that. And then next turn I could sacrifice the other one. Two fungal infections, a Skymarch Bloodletter and an Ill-Gotten Inheritance is kind of a slow start, but since we are going first, I'm going to be Just betting on something cheap that the enemy will play. We will have 3 mana earlier for the Sky March than our enemy will, so it's good. And another one. Totally fine interaction. Let's get in for 1. Get down Sky March Bloodletter. Next turn we could activate our Ill-Gotten Inheritance. Or maybe I won't, maybe I will just be putting down a Sky March, and once they try to pump this Sky Scanner I can just Fungal Infection it. It should be good that way as well. Okay, so it's just a card draw, I don't really mind that. So they won't be attacking, that's good. But I will be using my infection anyway. And now I will be just using up inheritance here. That's a lot of enchantments, but fortunately for us we have the answer for that. And yeah, opponent just gives up. I think we were quite lucky with the draws there, but who knows? Oh, is this a rare card? Oh, Anissa. Nice one. Let's see how far we can go in this event. Currently 2-1. Lightkeeper into Vicious Offering, into Sky March Bloodletter. I'm liking this start. Lightkeeper is also a nice endgame card, if for some reason you get up to 8 mana. Elves would be the perfect candidate for a Vicious Offering. I don't want to take any chances for the opponent to get ahead. Druid of the Cowl doesn't do that much, so I will be just attacking for 1 and get a Bloodletter in play. Whatever comes down next, I think we can deal with it using Obnixilus's Cruelty. Also they have red as well. That's a lot of mana ramping. Maybe we should be using one of our removals. The opponent is already at 6 mana. I have no idea what they are going to be playing, so I will just be attacking here and get down with that Untitled. It's a decent blocker and leaves the body behind. Okay, so that was their play. What can we do about it? I think we can leave behind the Talid Or we can just attack into it. Either way we don't really mind. And another Leafkin Druid. And the Colossal Dreadnought. Yeah, opponent is on quite a roll. I think I'll be just playing Inheritance here. That's a lot of damage incoming. But my opponent didn't give him haste, so it's good. So what can we do? We can put down a Blightkeeper, that's for sure. Can attack into the earrings. They'll just probably block it. What do they have? They have 7. They get 13, 14, 15 damage on the way back. I could just leave the Blightkeeper behind. Block Rubble Hide Runner. Rubble Belt Runner, and then give -5 to some other one. I think that's the play. And for that I need my Deathwing Thalid behind. The next turn we have exactly lethal in the air. And what kind of a pump spell they have in hand, that's the question. So that's just 12, so they need some kind of a pump spell. Okay, so they just use that. It's totally fine. But I'm going to have to be using this. Okay, so we got there. Even in the face of 2 Colossal Dreadnoughts. Whew, that was an exciting one. At least for me. So what do we have right now? We are up at 3 wins and 1 loss. Let's see if we can get the rare card with the 2 uncommons. Double Plague White with a Deathbloom Thalid. I think it's a slow start, but we are on the go, so yeah, we might just risk it. With a murder in hand we should be good. Opponent is on an aggressive red deck. I am not going to let them waste my turn, so I will probably be just passing. With Shock in hand, if they play a 2-drop, but they didn't, okay. So right now I'm going to be playing that Untitled who dies to a Shock, which is not fine, but at least they waste one of their spells. And then Plague Whites can come down unharmed. That's a weird one. And I might want to be Vicious Offering it next turn. Yeah, but that's a creature spell, so it's good. Yeah, let's just use this. I am not going to be using Murder anytime soon. Opponent with the Burning Prophet as well. I'm not going to block. He's probably using a pump spell here. Shock. It's a decent one. Yeah, Kiln Fiend is the newer cards that came with the Historic Anthology 1 pack that was recently released, and it's quite effective against us, not gonna lie. And now I'm going to be keeping up Murder for answering the Kiln Fiend if it's necessary. And I'm going with the no block option. Let's see what else they have. Going with everyone. Use that Untitled as a blocker. It should be decent against Burning Prophet, unless they have Shock or some sort of other spell. Okay, though they have First Strike. I'm not gonna block into that. I could have kept land in hand, it didn't really matter. I'm not going to be blocking Rimrock Knight just yet. Or maybe I should. That's 3 damage. Yeah, maybe I should. keep my hopes up. And I got an inheritance just in time. And no matter what the enemy does, they should be dead next turn. Yep, they realized that as well. So you got an inheritance just in time for the save. Let's see what we got. It's a Dragon Mage for our ICR. And let's see the final reward. I wasn't expecting that, but I guess it's good. River Ambush and Fountain of Renewal, both decent cards in their respective sets. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in my next videos. Until then, have a nice day.